I want to talk to you about my friend Charlie Crawford. He's a 10-time NFR qualifier.
Charlie Crawford, time to just shake it out and win. Got it on him fast, set
There
up.
we are.
Here's a day
Nice
money
run.
lead. You betcha 3-8.
That's an absolute perfect run. Timing was perfect from the time the first swing is up. He's got the control. Charlie made it happen by being timed up with his horse with the steer, and being able to not just rope, but to pick that steer's head up without changing the momentum for the heeler at all.
We know his beautiful wife, Jackie, all three of their beautiful children, the founder of the Liberty and Loyalty Foundation, which this year will exceed $1 million raised for military and first responders. I've said it 1,000 times. Charlie, it's time to rope, nod and ride, whip and spur. I want to welcome you to the Charlie Crawford Podcast. Let's ride.
Trusting your training. So a couple of years ago, one of my buddies from the military event that we put on took me up to North Texas, and we got to go shoot some guns. We went there and shot some 3 guns. I got to shoot my handgun, my AR, and a shotgun. And I was really wanting to work on being able to get a lot more comfortable with my handgun. So if anything was to happen, say in the house, I wanted that gun to not be foreign in my hands. I wanted it to be to where I could just be real fluid and smooth with it and not have to think. I wanted it to be a reaction of what if something was to happen, if that gun got in my hand, that I was going to be comfortable using it if I needed it in a pressured situation. And so it was fun to get to go up there. And so we got to go shoot with an air marshal for the FBI, and this guy was really good with guns, really good instructor. And so what we talked about was like if I was going to get my concealed carry. So I had a holster for my pistol that had a clip on the end of it, so I could clip it like right behind my belt buckle in the front of my pants where I could carry it, and then I could pull my coat over the top of it. And the trigger finger was blocked from that holster, and so he showed me from every single detail to exactly how I pulled my fingers underneath my coat. I cleared my firearm by a couple of inches and just kind of kept going over that repeatedly. Just kept grabbing my coat, pulling it over my firearm, grabbing my coat with my left hand, pulling over my firearm. Then after that, he showed me exactly how to put my thumb behind the handle of the pistol, exactly where to put my trigger finger over the top of the trigger, and be able to pull my gun out of my holster to the center of my chest and point it where I wanted it to go. So I did that, quite a few different times, enough to where it didn't take long before about 20 times I would do it. But every time I would do it, and like I said, his attention to detail was down to the inch. It was so, I loved how he instructed me to be able to do everything correctly. So there was no bad habits. And so after about 20 times, lifting my coat up, getting my firearm out, pulling it to center line and pointing where I wanted to go, then it would just become reaction. And it was just developing that muscle memory. So then the next time I said, okay, now this time put one in the chamber, put it back in your holster, put it back behind your belt buckle, cover your coat. And he said, all right, now this time, get your firearm out, get it to center line, put 2 shots in that target over there, and another 2 shots to my left, and then that target over there, and then back to center line. And so I did. I cleared my firearm, got my gun to center line, pointed it, shot my gun at the target in front of me, 2 shots there, and then 2 shots to the target to the left of me and back to center line. And, I didn't get no headshots or nothing like that, but I dang sure kind of knocked a shoulder out and knocked a rib out. Dang sure slowed him down, right? And so, anyways, he said, all right, now let's do that again. So I put one back in the chamber, put it in my holster, put it back behind my belt buckle, and covered it over my coat. He said, all right, now same thing, but this time I'm going to time you. This time you have 5 seconds to do it. So I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm like, I'm twitching my trigger finger, like I'm Billy the Kid, right? And, I pull my shirt sleeves back like I'm really getting after it. Not one time have I done this the whole time, right? But now all of a sudden he's timing it, now, ooh, yeah. So now we gotta get after it, right? Anyway, he says, all right, go. So I go to grab my coat, grab my firearm, and I come back to center line and have no gun in my hand. And I look down, I'm like, yep, it's still in the holster. And he started laughing. He goes, that's funny. He goes, everybody does that. He said, if you would just trust your training, he said, the first time you did it, the last time you just did it right there, he said, the first time you did this, you were probably about 4 seconds, maybe 4.5 seconds. But he said, because I start the time clock, everyone starts running all over themselves and get in a hurry. And I was like, man, how many times do we do that? You know, we go to a jackpot and say some young Thundercat throws a 5 or 6 second run out there, and then all of a sudden, now we just, when they start the time clock, now we're in a hurry to try to be fast. Now, as soon as the timer starts the clock, now all of a sudden we're doing stuff that we weren't practicing. And so that's what a lot of the stuff we talk about at these jackpots is, or at these clinics, is to be able to trust your training. You know, when you nod your head, that you're trying to stick with the runs that you've been practicing. And a lot of times when they start that clock, a lot of times we get in a speed jam and end up running all over ourselves. And so I think it's very important that when you practice your runs, when you get to the jackpot, trust it. Trust that run that you're making. Trust your training. And if there's some tweaks you need to make at the end of your jackpot, that's fine. But I see so many people that when they get to the jackpot, all of a sudden now they're trying to make runs that they haven't been practicing. So trust your training and good luck out there.